Welcome back to my channel. It is the end of April 2020. We are still in quarantine here in Romania, and I understand that Portugal is in the same situation. We are seeing signs of relaxing, and maybe in the future, at the end of May, we can travel back. Maybe, I hope, because for now we cannot shoot anything but this in our own home. So I thought today we are going to talk about bills, about expenses we have related to our house in Portugal, even if we are not staying there. There are quite a few of them, and we are going through everything today and see what it will cost you to have a house, a vacation house in Portugal, even if you are not staying there. These are the bills. There are quite a few. And we are going to start with electricity. We have electricity from EDP. This is what we inherit with the apartment. We didn't choose EDP. We understand there is also Galp in Portugal, but EDP is the largest. We are quite happy with EDP, but electricity in Portugal is very, very expensive. Of course, we went there in February and the house was a mess. You are going to see in other videos when we come back because the house is still a mess. We got to arrange it a little bit, but it's still a mess. So we had to heat the house because it was very, very fucking freezing cold, and we used up quite a bit of electricity. So in the month that we stayed there, we stayed through February and beginning of March, and we paid for that around 150 euros. Split into two bills. What you have to know about electricity in Portugal is that you pay like a fee, like a monthly charge, regardless of if you use or not the electricity. And this monthly charge is around 40 euros for us. So we have here on the invoice, we have the consumo real, which is the actual kilowatts that we used, and we have below something called potencia, and we pay more for this potencia, this monthly charge fee, than we actually pay for the consumo real, for the actually kilowatts used. So regardless of if you stay there or not, in the months that we are not staying there, we will pay these 40 euros, and in the months that we are staying there and we use quite a bit of electricity, we paid like 150 euros. We also have an electric blanket, and also we had 2 or 3 computers. So it quite like adds up, but in Romania the electricity it's like 2 times or even 3 times cheaper than in Portugal. So along with the consumption of the gas for the car we use, the EDP was among the largest expenses that we have in Portugal. The second expense we have, and we have to pay even if we don't live in the house, is Infralobo. Infralobo, it's like the community firm that takes care of the garbage, takes care of the trees and the roads in the complex. It's a company that deals with several complexes in the area, and takes care of the roads and the trees, and also about the garbage. And we paid for this around 43 euros per month. What I like about these Portuguese invoices is that you get a breakdown of everything that you are paying for, so you can see exactly how they calculate the amount. So on back of the invoices you have, for example, Servicio de Sanamiento de Aguas Residuais, meaning the collection of the residual waters that we use. Or Servicio de Abastamiento de Agua, which I understand it's not residual water, it's just water. Or servicio de gestão de residuos urbanos. This is the garbage. We also like Infralobo. We cannot change with another company, but we are quite happy with them because they are doing a great job in the area. They are always doing something on the road, on the trees. They plant flowers. And we are quite happy with the garbage system that we have. We have some cute little bins. So we have the electricity, we have garbage and water. And now, of course, for the internet. The internet, it's quite a problem in Portugal. Portugal doesn't have such a good internet. I know you all know that, and if you don't know and you are thinking of coming and live in Portugal, you should know that internet here is a problem because it's expensive and it's bad. We have in the area a firm that it's called Laser. Well, I thought that it is called Laser. Laser in Romania, it's a very common name for a boy, so we have quite a lot of Laser in Romania, but only when I heard a commercial on the radio, I learned that their name is actually Lazer. Lazer means in Portuguese, as I understand, means happiness or something like that. Please leave it in the comments if it means that, but I remember that I looked it up quite a few months ago, and it was Lazer, and Lazer was like pleasure, I don't know, happiness. So we have this firm, Lazer, which we also inherited from the previous owners. And we thought about changing with Vodafone because I saw that Vodafone has quite good reviews for the internet, but Vodafone doesn't deliver in our area. And also we had the possibility to go with Meo or NOS, and NOS it's a no-no because everybody has problem with NOS, and Meo just now introduced the fiber for the internet. We work remote and we need the powerful internet, but in the end we were dealing with such a lot of problems and we didn't want to make the switch, and we already had this Laser firm and we decided to go with them because nobody ever wrote a bad word about this firm regarding the internet. They have very good internet, but the problem is that they are very expensive. So for what internet we have the cheapest internet we can acquire from them, and we have 100 megabytes, 100 something like that, and we pay 60 euros, and this is a lot because you can get the same amount of internet for 40 euros or even 35 euros. And we actually, with all this crisis, because we weren't able to use this internet for quite some time, we wrote to Laser and asked them if they could give us a reduction because we are not actually using this internet. And they said that they couldn't give us a reduction because it doesn't work like that, but they could increase our speed as soon as we go back to Portugal and we are going to use the internet. We are going to have an increase of speed for some months. They didn't specify, but it was quite nice of them to give us something. I mean, they said that they couldn't forfeit their fee entirely, but they just gave us something to keep us happy. The third expense that we have is IMI. IMI is property tax here in Portugal, and you pay the property tax in 2020 for the previous year. This is very different from our country here in Romania. Here in Romania you have to pay in advance, meaning you pay in 2020 for 2020. In Portugal you pay in 2020 for the previous year, and you don't have to pay all the sum all at once. Depending on how much you owe, you pay in 2 installments or in 3 installments. We owe about 650 euros per year, and they divide this in 3 installments. And the first installment is now in May, I think. For all these expenses, we made sure to have automatic payments, meaning direct debit, because it's quite a hassle to pay these monthly. We have so many invoices to keep in mind, the invoices for our companies, the invoices for our home here in Romania. And the last thing we needed was to deal with this, and maybe if we forget a payment, we have penalties. We are able to do that because we have a Portuguese bank account, and this was no problem. But I don't think someone who doesn't have a Portuguese account can automate these payments. Also, the second thing we did, it's a recommendation, we made online accounts for all these providers, meaning we can log in the account and see our invoices and see if we have something we want to communicate with them, or just have online accounts. For example, for IMI tax, we have an online account with finanzas. And for example, now when we are not in Portugal, I understand that finanzas send home invoices for the year for this IMI, but we are not there to receive this. And if we didn't have the online account, we didn't know that we had to pay. Having online accounts helps you a great deal, and you can see your situation in real time and can see if something is wrong. And also you can pay everything online, because for example, to pay IMI you need a reference number. So we don't have the actual invoice, but we have this reference number that we get from the Finanzas portal because we have an online account. I know that it's not easy for all of the persons watching this video to make online accounts, but I'm telling you that making online accounts once and getting through all this hassle and automate your payments once and going to all the papers you have to sign in order for them to take the money out of your account automatically, it is worth a lot, because you don't have to do this yourself to take from your time. They just issue the invoice, take your money. Of course, this works if you have some money in your Portuguese account, which we have, because we have to also have to pay the mortgage, so we have to have there some money. One more thing I want to mention: when we bought in this complex, we thought that we have to pay a monthly or a yearly membership for being part of this resort. We didn't know actually how everything works. I think it was a little wrong from our part buying a house in this resort without actually doing all our homeworks, but we wanted so much to do that nothing else counted. So my advice for you is to see all the expenses in your complex, if you want to move in a complex, in a resort, before buying. We didn't do that. Actually, we thought that we have to pay 2,000 euros, 2,100 euros per year just because we have a house in this complex. Turns out that we don't have to pay this. We are not obligated to be a resort member. But if you are not a resort member, you don't have access to the pools, you don't have access to the resort bus, you don't have the discounts on all the shops and all the restaurants. Basically, what we are missing is the pools. Here are two splendid pools, and the resort bus. So the resort bus is not a problem because we have a car, but it's quite a nice addition to the resort. It's very handy to have a resort bus to take you to the shop, to get you to every other part of the resort without driving. So we don't have that. We would have to pay 2,000 euros to get that for two persons. And we moved here thinking that we have this expense. So when we actually found out that we don't have to pay this, it was like winning the lottery, because I don't know any other resort that doesn't enforce on you a membership fee. Please leave it in the comments if you know another resort in Algarve when you can buy a house and it's not a membership fee that you have to pay, because as soon as I get back to Portugal, I want to start a series of videos about the resorts. I want to visit each and every resort, no matter how small, no matter how big, no matter how fancy, no matter how average, because I'm quite fascinated with resorts, and I want to make videos about that. I quite enjoy visiting the resorts and grade them, and I was enjoying myself, and I was looking for this house to do that. So I want to do that also for you. It would have been quite handy for me to have some footage of the resorts before coming to Portugal, to learn about each and every resort. I want to thank you so much for your support. We have here some new followers. Thank you for following me. If you are not subscribed yet, please do so, because you are helping me very much. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!